Welcome to the show. It's the happiness hour. So, what are we doing? Spreading some happiness. How are you, Jess?
Oh, I'm so happy. How are you?
Yeah. To be honest, and this is going to sound so schmaltzy, but like every time I get to have FaceTime with you, I'm happy. I appreciate our friendship so much. And I love all the work that you do in WordPress. And so, if we get the time to be on a call together, then that makes me happy. So, thanks for
I
being
feel
here
the
today.
same way. I genuinely just love your heart and soul and
Uh,
spirit. WordPress, no WordPress. You're a good egg.
Thank you. Likewise, for sure. And I always spend like at least the first 5 minutes of every call with you, like looking at what's different in your background this time. Like I love how you decorate and all the stuff. So
Thanks. Yeah, what's new now is this guy.
yeah.
This is my grandson. I am cat sitting right now for my son who is up in Boston.
Oh, nice. And what's the cat's name?
Uh, yeah, the cat's name is Kush.
Okay. Is there a reason or we don't talk about it?
My son's a teenager.
Okay. Okay. Enough said. Enough said. Yeah. My daughter's 32, and yet sometimes there's like, Mom, there are things you don't need to know. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, well, the excitement here, the cat has learned how to open the doors in the house. So
Okay.
it's an exciting day here at Casa Frick.
I guess it is for sure.
What's
Well,
news with you, Michelle?
what's new with me is okay, so if you've ever done an online event that was live streamed throughout the entire day, you know that for every track that you had, you have one giant YouTube video because they don't stop and start, right?
Yeah.
So we had Stellar Sparked about 2 weeks ago, and that was 2 tracks.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. It went really well. I was so happy. We had such great speakers. But I always think, oh, I can slice and dice these up into individual talks, add the bumpers, and post them on YouTube. I'll have it done by Tuesday. No, it took me 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks to get through them all. But I got them all. The last one uploaded this morning, and I was able to send that out to all of my speakers so that they have those links to the things that they do. So that's what is exciting in my life today. Also, if you see all the trash and stuff behind me, I can't point the right directions. I had new flooring put in today, a new toilet put in my house, and the trash is not done being taken out yet. So I usually have a more pristine background than this. So
It looks pretty pristine to me. Had you not pointed that out, I probably wouldn't have even seen it. But now I have to ask the important follow-up question. What
which
kind of
is
flooring?
yeah, so it was just peel and stick over the old linoleum. So you probably know, I don't know if everybody knows, I bought this condo from my parents who were the original owners. It was built in they moved in 1988. They were the first people to live in this condo. And so all of the style choices that they made are from 1988. And so the linoleum in that bathroom, well, first of all, the walls used to be mustard yellow. It was terrible.
It's coming back in like a retro kitsch way.
Like I could hardly use that bathroom because I felt so like it was so oppressive, the yellow. So it's now white with the accent wall of dark gray with my own original artwork in there, photography in there. I took a picture in a car wash of the windshield, made it black and white, had it blown up, and put that in there. So everything is really starting to match and look really nice. So today some gray tiles went in. Like it looks like wood, like the wood tiles, like long slats, and I'm very, very happy with it. So
by the way, if anybody is watching this who doesn't know, Michelle is a gifted photographer.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Hearing that you've decorated other rooms in your house with your own photography just does not surprise me at all.
I mean, it could feel a little self-indulgent, but on the other hand, I spent a lot of time, practicing my craft and taking photos that I love. So why not surround myself with the beauty that I like to photograph? So yeah, like these are all, my work here and that kind of thing. So I actually recently changed the aspect ratio or the zoom of my camera. So now you can see more. You can see all the guitars and the flute and the trumpets. You can see my jersey over here from WordCamp Phoenix last year that everybody signed. And my right over I can't point. We all know I'm so challenged today, but right over the door is my WordCamp 2024 Euro license plate that Google gave me and that I had on my scooter. So yeah, so it's coming together nicely. It's coming together nicely.
That's
But the
awesome.
reason, thank you. But the reason I invited you on today is because you're doing some pretty cool stuff at Pressable, and you recently had a redesign of your website. And I
We
wanted
sure
you to
did.
be able to, I wanted to like talk through it and tell me what you did and why you did it. And is it always dark, or is there a light mode too? You know, all those things. I mean, I know the answers, but I want you to show the answers too.
Oh, God,
So
I
yeah,
love that.
so let's bring it. I'm gonna add your screen so you can walk us through a little bit of what's going on at Pressable.
Yeah. So Pressable.com, for anybody that's not familiar with us, we're a managed WordPress host. We're part of the Automatic family of brands, but we are more of a traditional WordPress host as opposed to, what you're familiar with WordPress.com. I got to give them some love too, because they're doing some interesting stuff over there. But you're going to find that Pressable is kind of more of the experience that you're familiar with, plus. And so we wanted to make sure our new website spoke to those that would understand our unique selling propositions. We're not somebody that is going to be your first host. We're who you move to after you've experienced other hosts. We've won awards for how beautiful our interface is, and we're really known for our support. It's difficult to quantify support, but you know good ones when you get it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so we wanted to make sure our website was very sleek and modern and spoke to more of a WordPress professional. Now, that said, people who own businesses that have, serious websites on WordPress, they will absolutely find a home with us as well. And so we drew a lot of inspiration, honestly, from more high-tech applications than, the standard hosting aesthetic. And so you'll see that in a lot of our typography and our color scheme. You originally had asked, even though you know the answer, yes, it does have a light mode. Watch your eyes, everybody. Here it comes.
See, now I am a light mode person.
Michelle.
Dark mode hurts my eyes. It just does. I have trouble reading it. And so I'm one of those few people that's like, always puts the light mode on. So I think it's beautiful, the dark mode. It looks lovely. But if I was going to spend enough time on it, I am so happy that I can toggle it to light mode for myself. And I think that is a truly accessible feature when you create a site that can toggle back and forth for the minority of people like me who enjoy the light mode better. But it is definitely a much more beautiful, it's beautiful either way, but it's a much more beautiful site when you see it in dark mode.
Well, thank you for that. We actually drew a lot of inspiration from our WordPress hosting panel, which looks a lot like this on the inside. If I click here, you'd actually see a video of me walking through it. I won't do it on the live, but one of the things that our front-end engineer, Wayne, whose name's right there, put a lot of effort into is making sure that all of our context is accessible. There are a lot of people who have perception challenges, be it color or contrast. And so our management portal offers not just light mode and dark mode, but also specific color perception changes. So perhaps you don't see blue, or red doesn't render right for you. I'm sorry, render is the wrong word. Red doesn't look the way to you that it does to everyone else.
Gotcha.
We have offered a lot of extensibility in that. And so for our website, this first version, you do manually decide whether it's light mode or dark mode.
Sure.
But our next iteration is going to look to your device to see what your preference is, generally speaking.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was important to us because honestly, we want everyone to sit at our table.
I love that. I talk about the table all the time. You know that. Like,
I
as far as
know.
accessibility and underrepresentation. So I love that it's an open invitation to everyone.
Yeah, if our table is not suitable for everyone, then we still have a lot of work to do. And by no means are we perfect. It's constantly evolving and we've got way more to do, but we've invested the time and effort into doing a lot of it so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things that I really love about our team. We really care about that.
So I know in different places, site redesigns can be a quick thing or they can be an incredibly long process. When did you all decide that you wanted to redesign the site, and how long did it take you? Because I'm always curious about those things.
So we decided we wanted to do this last year, and we've been working on it for a very long time. Our previous website was not block-based.
Okay.
We relied heavily on advanced custom fields, and it was a conglomeration of 5 years of incredible work on behalf of our front-end engineer.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided we really wanted to, eat our own dog food. We are firm believers that blocks are the way of the future.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to go there. We actually even have some, FSC involved, full site editing in some parts. Not everything is block-based, but a lot of it is. Yeah. And so for our use, but also performance and, again, accessibility, we wanted to really go all in on that. But that involves rebuilding a lot of modules and elements. And so that's what took the most time. A lot of careful thought went into how we did that. And even things like our features page. I will go over here. Mm-hmm. So our features page now has, kind of an all features situation, but we broke up all of our... Kush wants to be on the call. We broke up our features into things we could do with our product. So, there are lots of things that we offer to help you build, manage, collaborate, or automate. Mm-hmm. And so figuring out these funnels took a little bit of time. Building out the modules took more. Yeah. So I will pick on this page just to click one of them. Mm-hmm. One of the cool things that we did was we changed all of our imagery to really focus on what the product looks like. If you ever see any pictures of people, those are all in black and white, but our interface is always in color. Mm-hmm. To really let that shine through, because that's what we're focusing on. I mean, obviously the people will always be in it, but we really wanted to drive home how beautiful the product is.
And it really does make a stark juxtaposition, or whatever you want to say, contrast. I think also as you're scrolling through, I'm noticing that there was an absolute attention to the color palette that was selected. So everything blends really well and it's very distinct.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited about it. Obviously, plenty of room to grow.
When there always is, right?
Yeah, I will tell you one thing that I'm really excited about is we added a change log. And this is something that we don't often see in our space. But this is going to be a great opportunity for me personally to brag about the new things that we introduce. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people will ask for roadmaps. I hope to be able to offer that in the future, but at least now the big things that are released, whether you want to be on our email list or not. To which people say, but what about your competitors? Then they know. Well, I should hope they do.
Right? For sure.
So, yeah. And we just continue to work through all of our pages. I'm very excited with the performance that we're seeing. I think I can share that our conversions have increased since our redesigns. I'm very excited about that.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, exactly. And most of our feedback has been positive. We've gotten some constructive feedback, which, we're grateful for.
Absolutely.
But overall, it's been pretty positive.
Yeah, I love that. So if I can brag just a little bit. So and we didn't clear this in advance, so I hope it's okay that I bring up a conversation you and I had over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, maybe. But you and I had a conversation around underrepresented in tech and ways that all companies can do better. And you want to pick my brain session.
Yes,
so
I
you
did.
were like, So you were like, I'm gonna pick their brain. So you came and you met with me and Allie, and I was trying to think of ways that you could like move more into like, I don't know, customer service or community service. And I on the top of my head said, oh, you could build a speaker bureau or a speaker directory online and host it on Pressable and all these things. And you were like, I love that idea, but I don't have the resources right now. We have so many irons in the fire. We can't do that right now. And so then I approached you later and I was like, so I gave you this idea, but can I take it back if you're not going to do it? And you said, absolutely, and let us host it because it's that good of an idea and I appreciate what you did. And so WPSpeakers.com, if you do scroll down, you'll see one of our sponsors is Pressable. It's because you are hosting this idea that we kind of came up with, spur of the moment, kind of together. So yeah, so and I can attest that the interface is easy to use. Do you know how many times I've used the customer support at Pressable?
How many?
0, because I've never needed it.
I love that.
It just does what it's supposed to do, you know.
Well, sometime just for fun, reach out to our support team and see how long it takes them to respond.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not very long at all.
It's really not, and you're not going to get somebody who is reading from a script or, some kind of a chat bot running the first line. If you write us and you're like, oh my gosh, I need help with this, you're going to get a WordPress expert that genuinely cares about your success.
And I love, so I decided over a weekend, like next week's the week I'm going to start the site. I started building it on a Monday night, soft launched it in a public forum on Wednesday. And by Friday, I had like 75 people signed up to be speakers. And all of it moved very quickly because I didn't struggle with my hosting, right? So like that was an awesome part of the whole thing, was just to be able to not have to worry, all of the things connected the way they were supposed to. I'm just struggling with writing name servers. That was one of them. All of those things worked through the way that they were supposed to. And it was just,
I gotta say your website's pretty fast.
It's lightning speed. It is very quick.
Look at that beautiful lady.
Aw, the one time in the last 3 years I wore makeup and there it is for my headshots. Anyway.
And your hair is so purple.
So purple, backlit and everything. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so thank you for hosting this site because I know even today, 6 or 7 inquiries went through this site to ask people to speak at or to consider speaking at an event that's coming up this fall. Because I see what's happening on the site. And so to know that it's being used on a regular basis to serve our community, we don't charge people to use it. It's just a wonderful thing. So thank you.
And those are the ones that you can see.
Right. Because people might reach out directly to one another without going through the forms on the site for sure. And I'm sure they do. Oh, I didn't know so-and-so spoke this. I'll just DM them kind of thing. So
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, thanks. So put it back in dark mode so people can see because that's your favorite.
There we go.
It does glow in a way like really nicely, right? All the colors and everything really.
Yeah, I know that you don't love it, but my goodness, I
love how it looks. I just can't read for very long. That's all white on black. So
I understand. Yeah,
it's like
we actually purposely didn't use black.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's almost like an eggplant or something, a dark eggplant. But when I first discovered Reddit had dark mode, because that's the first time I ever knew anything like that, I switched it over and within 10 seconds, I was like, oh no, I cannot do this. It's just one of those people that it just irritates my eyes and my headache. So, but I think it's beautiful. And
thank you.
And you don't read a homepage like you read a book. It's not like you're there for 3 hours. So it doesn't bother me, but I do like that it switches back and forth so that you can watch it or see it in the light mode as well. I think that's an important feature.
Yeah. And I mean, again, looking at our blog, I could see sometimes when you are trying to read it, for someone that has that perception challenge, makes it very easy to just switch.
So like right now, if you switch this over to the light mode, then it's for me much easier to read. The dark on the white background is much easier, or light background. So yeah, very cool. So for anybody who doesn't know, this isn't really a commercial per se, but still, since you're here, It could be, right. You're not sponsoring, none of that. I just using these happiness hours to talk about different people's projects and businesses. And so tell us about some of the features of Pressable hosting that you think would make somebody want to go from their first host to their next host.
Well, like I said, our support is truly incredible. I offer a sneak peek behind the scenes on this video on our homepage, so definitely go check that out. Our performance is incredible. I think you will find we deserve all of the top awards that we got in this past year's review signal testing. We always win top accolades, and for good reason. We are really, really fast, no matter how heavy a traffic load you throw at us. And I know this is getting like super sponsory. Here, I'll stop sharing.
I can make it.
There we go. Now it's not as sponsory.
There you go.
I think one of the things that I personally love the most about Pressable is just how easy it is to use, whether you're building a new site or migrating into it. I feel like our ideal customer is managing a lot of websites or one big website, and there's very little margin for error when you're working like that. And so you need something that's easy, powerful, works to your workflow. We have one of the most extensive API libraries I've ever seen, and we're very public about all of the endpoints. So it's very easy to figure out whether you want to work with us or not.
Nice. And security wise, you feel confident about your security as well?
Oh, 100%. We're part of the Automatic family. We're built on WP Cloud. So at the server level, it's as rock solid as it gets. On a per site level, we include premium Jetpack security, which normally would cost quite a bit of money if you want to have that. And so we feel that that is a great way to manage your site security. I know you're from the iThemes Now Solid security family. Yes. And I think Solid Security is a great product. I love it.
It really is. Absolutely.
I still have it on one of the sites that I manage, even though I'm obviously a Jetpack girl. But I really do love how easy it is to toggle things on and off. They've got some premium features that they make very accessible to people who are not super technical.
Yeah. When I first started, we started building with WordPress, which was 2011, so quite a few years ago, I wanted to be able to adjust CSS, and that was not built into the WordPress editor at that point in time. So I would add Jetpack back then just so that I could edit CSS because it was part of the Jetpack tool back then. I don't know if you remember that. And so I would add Jetpack. And also when all of a sudden everybody had a smartphone in their hand and our websites needed to be mobile responsive, for any customers that I had at the time, because I was freelancing back then, who didn't want to invest money to redesign a site into being mobile responsive, Jetpack had a way for you to display in a mobile responsive way just by hitting a toggle. And so like back in the day, it was like this, it just saved me so much time and energy to do those things that I needed to do. Of course, now a lot of those things are built in into WordPress, which is great and part of core. And Jetpack has grown and found better ways to be implemented in your site as well. I mean, there used to be this, it's so bloaty, it takes up so much space. And it did back in the day, and that's not the case anymore. And so it's nice to be able to see how things have developed over the years, because 13 years between my first site and today, that's a lot of growth in WordPress, right? So
for sure. And that's honestly what I tell people when they tell me they don't like Jetpack because it slows down their site. When was the last time you used it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
did it not work for you 10 years ago?
It's not different since 2015.
Yeah, they've done a lot to it. And there are mixed opinions on whether they should have kept it all as one or whether they should have broken it apart. Yeah. I personally love the choose your own adventure aspect of breaking it apart into different features so that you don't have everything.
No, for sure. I think that's definitely, I think Yes, it's absolutely. I'm trying to find a way to copy something I did and it won't let me. I was going to put across the bottom, if you have questions for Jess, comment in the chat and we'll answer them. I think it's in the chat, but I don't know if people who arrive late see that. So if you do, if you're watching and you have questions, let us know. Because I cannot make it go across the bottom without sitting here and typing it out. And I can't talk and type at the same time. Anyway, yes, I think Jetpack has a lot of really good qualities now, and to be able to use it. And I know that there are premium features and regular features and all of those things. So if you're interested in exploring that some more, maybe we'll get somebody on the show in a couple weeks or whatever to talk about Jetpack and how it's changed over the years and what it looks like today versus what people's collective memory well judges it to be, right? So all of that.
So Michelle, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
What is the one plugin that you put on every single site that you run?
The one plugin I put on every single site. Well, I have more than one that I put on every single site. So, but Yoast, I always use Yoast for my SEO. It is for me the easiest. I learned it. I know how to use it. And the fact that they have an inclusive language add-in to the free version of it, and the work that I do with underrepresentation, I think is super important. And so that I use Yoast for that. And then I always use WS Form. I mean, even if all I'm doing is a contact form, and it doesn't need all of the, opportunity that WS Form comes with. I have a developer license there from my dear friend Mark Westgard.
I was going to say, do we need to tell people like FTC guidelines that you're work married to the creator?
I know. His wife knows too. It's all good. We're all friends.
It's good. It's work married, not real married.
Exactly. But so WS Form goes on every one of my sites as well. And then depending on, what I'm doing, I've used Cadence. I used to use another site, builder. But Cadence, I love that it's block-based and you have so many opportunities to use it. So I use Cadence on all my sites now too. So.
Yeah, without mentioning the site, but I can share that Cadence graciously offered a generous discount to a nonprofit that I was helping, and it produced the most beautiful site for them. I am just so thrilled with how that turned out, and it gave me an opportunity to see the Cadence team up close and just how much they genuinely care about people. And I did have to use their support for one weird thing because, of course, it's me. When I get in there, I'm going to break something because I'm trying to just work it to the edge.
It's harder to break hosting than it is to break your site, though. Let's just admit that, right? So.
It's true. It's true. But, I'm always trying to do things and, you can't get there from here. And their support was just fantastic.
Yeah.
That also said, you mentioned Yoast.
Yes.
And nobody ever needs Yoast support.
Except you.
When we updated the Pressable site, I could not figure out how to update our social image. And there was this weird random cache that we didn't know about. And Yoast support looked at our website and figured it out and found it and helped us clear it so that we could have our new social thing. Because looking at the front end, you would have thought that it was showing up everywhere and we just couldn't get rid of the dang thing.
Yeah.
Yoast support, again, won my whole heart.
Yeah. Yoast is so community minded too. I love how they lean into supporting underrepresented groups, how they often host the pride parties at big WordCamp events. And if I can brag for just a moment, with Underrepresented in Tech, they used to sponsor some of Allie's time when Allie was on the project. And then when Allie stepped back, I actually went to Taco and asked him, I'm like, hey, I want to ask Sama to be my co-host and my partner in this project, but I'll only ask her if she can do it during her work hours at Yoast. And so that this isn't something she has to do on the outside, because I don't want to fundraise. I don't want to have to find sponsors to pay her time. And he came back to me the next day and said, go for it. And so they sponsor her time, just like a lot of automaticians are sponsored into community work. They do that with Sama's hours. And so every week that we record Underrepresented in Tech and the things that we do, like we alternate the newsletter every other month, those kinds of things, she is able to do that during her work hours and not have to do that after time. So yes, I'm a big Yoast fan, not going to lie. I don't need to lie.
And the inclusive language tool is just so smart
It
and
really
so
is.
forward thinking.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It's gotten me a couple times, and I feel like I'm pretty self-aware of these things, but you don't know what you don't know. So it's nice to have a checker to help you.
Yeah, I'll be honest and say it's never caught me, but that's my niche. So if it catches me, I'm going to be surprised that I missed something. But I still have it turned on every site, so just to make sure that I don't miss anything, or type something that I didn't know could be offensive. And that's the most important thing to me. Is it's not necessarily that we intentionally make mistakes. People who intentionally seek to hurt others with words don't use that part of Yoast because they don't care if they're offending people. But people like you and me, we do care, and we never want to unintentionally offend somebody. So if it does catch something that we write, that makes us stronger writers and bigger allies in the community, which I think is a good thing.
Well, now the conversation's evolving, and I like where this is going. I think if more people were willing to be wrong, we could all grow a whole lot.
Absolutely.
It's a little nerve-wracking to have something like that running on your site because you're like, oh my God, is it going to just be, nagging me the whole time? And the reality is no. I mean, if you're trying to, be inclusive with your language and your word choice, no, it's not.
Absolutely.
But we don't know our blind spots. Going back to that call that I got to have with you and Allie, the Pick Your Brain session. I told you on the call, I don't know what I don't know. So can you help me figure out how to get there in a way that is as inclusive as possible?
Yep, exactly. I love when people reach out for help, right? It's great if we have the capacity to help others and the willingness to do so, to help others grow because they're seeking to do better. Like there's no better way than that, right? Like I remember wishing school would be over, right? As a kid, like it's not 2:00 yet. And now I'm like, oh man, I take a class, I'm like, oh, it's almost over, but I still want to learn more, right? Because we understand the acquisition of knowledge differently as adults than we did as kids. But yeah, when people can reach out to you and they want to do better, like why not help people and share what knowledge you have? And you did say like the willingness to make mistakes. And I have publicly commented about when I've made mistakes before. And so like almost 2 years ago now, Kathy Zant and I started WP Motivate, our podcast. And the first episode, we were so excited. We were like, I pinged her in the morning. I'm like, hey, do you want to do a project with me? I want to do something with you. She's like, yeah, what do you want to do? I'm like, let's do a podcast. What do you want to do it about? Oh, let's just talk about motivation. Okay, let's do it. When do you want to do it? Let's record it today. We literally recorded it Friday morning, built the site over the weekend, and published our first episode on Monday.
You guys aren't normal, though, just to be clear.
We're not. And we used Cadence because it already had a theme built. So it was a low lift, but it was still a lot of work over that weekend. Did I remember to do a transcript of that first episode? No, I did not. Did I get called out publicly on Twitter? Because here I am talking about inclusion and I forget to do a transcript. Yes, I did. And do you know what I could have said? I could have said, well, I didn't have time. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the energy, which all were kind of true, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I said was, oh my God, I made a mistake and it won't happen again. And so we went back and put a transcript for that first episode. And we've never published an episode since without a transcript. Fast forward to like earlier this year, because I continue to grow and make mistakes, of course, I put out a newsletter for Underrepresented in Tech, which is, of course, about inclusion for all people. And we messed up. Like the links were not good links. They didn't describe what was being opened. Like click here is never a good thing, right? You want people to understand what they're clicking. Not having good alt tags on the images in those newsletters. I got an email from a blind woman who reads our newsletter who was disappointed in us. And it wasn't like she wasn't angry. She was like, I'm really disappointed that y'all talk about inclusion. She didn't say y'all, that was me. That you talk about inclusion. In case y'all think she's from the South, she's not. She's not even in America, I don't think. But anyway, talks about inclusion and we aren't practicing what we're preaching. And I said, you are absolutely correct. And I am going to learn how to do these things better. I already knew alt images, right? Alt text for images, but I hadn't learned really well at that point how I should structure links. And so I did the research. And the next time we put the next issue out, I messaged her. I said, it's not your job to evaluate and review us. But if you, I hope that you notice that I've done better work on this one. And if you have any feedback, I welcome it. And she's like, wow, you hit it out of the park. Good. I grew. Did I talk about that on social media also? Yes, because I am not a perfect person and I want other people to know it's okay to make mistakes as long as we're using those as opportunities to learn and do better. So yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on my soapbox right now.
I saw it go in there. I'm like, okay, let's light this fire. Let's do it.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing. I think that we do a lot of good work in underrepresented in tech, and for other people to reach out and win a pick my brain session and grow from that was just an amazing opportunity. So I think
many ideas came from that. It was so good.
I'm so glad.
So now I have to ask Michelle, how has it been going as CEO of Post Status?
Yeah, so I'm the executive director over at Post Status.
Executive director, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, Corey's still the owner. And we have investors as well. We just got a new sponsor this last week, so I'm excited about that. So OmniSend is coming on as a sponsor.
Oh, OmniSend, good.
Yep. So next week's newsletter,
everything. Every time I turn around, there's somewhere else.
So they are also sponsoring WP Coffee Talk. So like, there's a lot of things that they're getting into the ring with. I think it's great. So yeah, you'll see that in next week's newsletter. Talking about them and getting them added to the website and all the good things. And it's great. I love to see that kind of growth. I love to see those kinds of opportunities for people. This year, we've also, part of last year into this year, we added monthly meetups in 3 different areas. So we have a meetup for professionals, for product owners, and for agency owners. And we do that every month, three separate ones on 3 separate days. And you're welcome to attend all of them or one of them or whatever combination you'd like. So it's been fun. It's been fun to do those things, to do some writing on the site and to think about what the next steps might look like for Post Status. So we're in lots of conversations about how we want things to grow. And I guess you'll just have to wait and see what's coming down the pike, because I don't have anything I can share at this particular moment in time, but I am very excited about it. Thank you.
Well, you are well known for your love of community, community building, community engagement. What do you see for the future of the Post Status community?
Yeah, my goal is for it to grow. I think right now it's on a little bit of a plateau. And so we're trying to think through how we can be a better resource for the community and facilitate those conversations that are both easy and hard for people, so that if people want to be able to reach out to other owners of companies and things like that. So for example, I work with Corey Moss on a product that he and Corey Miller started, OMG. And we're trying to think of better ways to do marketing from a grassroots kind of level for plugin companies that don't have a lot of dough yet, right? Like, we haven't earned a lot of money yet. So we can't really just turn around and put nothing into marketing and advertising. And so in the last 2 weeks, we decided to create the IPAWP, and treating it like an IPA beer, kind of craft beer idea. It's the Independent Plugin Alliance for WordPress. And so IPAWP.com is, right now it's just an interest form, but over the next few weeks, you're going to see it grow into something where small businesses will be able to do some community marketing with one another. So I shout out your plugin, you shout out my plugin. We talk about ways that we can help one another grow without anybody having to put money into a pot, right? So it's just like, if you qualify, you get to be part of this. It's all about community, it's about sharing. It's just one more way that the WordPress community can help each other do better in this space.
Gosh, I love that. And coming from a hosting perspective, I have to believe there's a cool way for us to help too. Like, we can confirm, yes, your plugin is fully compatible here. You're not going to have any weird things. Like, so one thing that we sometimes see in hosting, if a plugin will have one site license, sometimes it won't work in a staging environment.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And so we might work with the plugin provider to whitelist our staging URLs.
Yeah.
And so people can do it that way. I'm so sorry if you could hear my dogs.
I'm like, is the fox running and everybody on the horse is behind, like chasing? I feel like I'm in Bridgerton or something.
I love it on Google Meet and Zoom. You know, you could have a literal atomic bomb going off in the background and they're just going to see the lights. They're not going to hear it. And on StreamYard, it's like full 4K, like Dolby.
It is what it is.
They've
So
been quiet
funny.
today too.
Yeah. They just sense it. It's going off of our excitement and enthusiasm. They're just picking up on it.
They're very excited about this IPA idea. They want to know if they need an ID. Is it 21 and up, or
It is not actually. It is
Oh,
not. Yeah.
good.
It's actually for newer plugins and smaller companies, so that you can be kind of a newbie.
I love that.
21. Yeah.
That's an interesting dovetail though, back to post status.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think post status has a role in welcoming people who are newer to the community?
I think that's something that we are looking at right now, right? Because Post Status is a membership community. So, there is a membership component to it, and you do have to subscribe for that. And so I love that sometimes people want to do gift subscriptions to people and make that possible. Now my cat's in the background investigating the toilet box for the new toilet. She's trying to figure it out. And yours is sleeping. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that definitely it can be a place of welcome, but it isn't just like a free for all open to everybody. So you do have to be invested in your career or your business, depending on the kinds of membership you're looking for. And I don't think that's too much to ask, quite honestly, right? So a couple $100 a year to be able to have this and be part of it. So. But yeah, it's one of those things that we kind of wrestle with here and there to figure out what's the best way for us to position ourselves within that and then work from there. So
I feel like, and I hate to use the word gatekeeping, but I feel like when you put some of the best stuff on the top shelf, yes, it does prevent other people from getting to it, but that also keeps it for those that might not be around that day. I feel like in a private membership community, you can have conversations that you wouldn't have out in public.
Yeah.
I feel like
even at a public golf course, you have to pay to play, right?
Yes.
You can't just walk in and play golf. You don't necessarily have to have a membership, but you have to pay to do that. And so it's like, yes, you can use the resources, but it's not a free community to join. So, and I'm okay with that. I think that that's a good thing.
I can't tell you how many times I have used post status to connect with others in the community.
Yeah, me too.
As opposed to social media,
yeah,
any of the given networks, because it's just as easy as opening up a DM with a fellow member,
right,
and saying, hey, I'm having this trouble, or hey, can you help me with this thing? And we're always so quick to respond to each other because everybody has post status on their phone and computer.
Yeah. And it's not like not everybody has DMs turned on in other places. So even if you're following somebody on, let's say, Twitter, doesn't mean you're able to connect with them directly there without doing it publicly, right? But you can't turn off DMs in Slack as much as maybe you'd like to block somebody now and then, but it's not possible. So you can ignore it, but it's there. So that's right. So you have the opportunity to connect with people, which I think is a good thing. I love that. That's how I reached out to you last week and was like, hey, you want to come on the show? We could talk about your new website at Pressable. So
it's true. Although we do have each other's phone numbers too. So there's some of that.
We do. We do text now and then, don't we?
We do. Although I feel like we've gotten busy.
It's been a crazy year for sure. Which just means that I need to text you more because obviously it's something that we fell away from. So let's do it some more. I'm not putting my phone number on the screen for everybody to text me, but Jess, I will text you more. I promise.
For a good time call.
Exactly. Well, let's wrap this up a little bit for just to bring it up on the screen again. If you're interested in more information, pressable.com, or if you're part of Post Status, just DM Jess and she will set you up with all of the demos or whatever else you need and answer your questions for sure. And even Jess doesn't know this, but next week, okay, first of all, a little bit of a setup. We started having the happiness hour on Wednesdays when Twerk magazine stopped having their social hour on Wednesdays. And so I felt bad that we didn't have this venue, this opportunity. There was a gap in the community for that. And so I reached out to Doc Popular and I'm like, hey, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it if it's going to make you feel bad. And he's like, go for it. He is my guest next week. And
oh my gosh.
we're going to talk about the work he's doing right now with WordPress on the Fediverse.
Yes.
So I need to do a little research this week on I understand from a very, very far away distant idea what the Fediverse is, but I'll be doing a little bit of research so I can ask him good questions next week. But I hope people will tune in next week, and it'll be me and Doc Popular talking about the Fediverse. He's been doing some pretty cool videos, so if you haven't seen them yet, check those out. He's on TikTok, and I've seen him on Twitter and in Mastodon and all the places. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
He is a gifted storyteller.
He is an amazing yo-yoist. If you have never seen him play with a yo-yo, I'm sorry. He probably wouldn't like it if I said play with the yo-yo. If you haven't seen him show off his yo-yo skills, he's on TikTok for that too. And it blows my mind what people can do with a yo-yo and string. So there you are. So next week, Doc Popular. Jess, thank you so much for being here today and sharing what's going on at Pressable and with you. And it's always a pleasure to see you. And I'm so grateful for your time today.
I'm so grateful for you. Thanks for having me. Here, let's see if
My
I can
pleasure.
get my computer to do it. There we go.
I got it too.
We both have hearts.
Wait, did you ever do 2 and get the?
I have. I love this. But then there's also the lasers. If you want to, there we go.
Oh, let's see. Now people are just watching us be silly.
I know.
So. If you've been here today, thanks for listening. And we'll see everybody next week at Doc Popular. Thanks again, Jess.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.